The United States of America 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Quarter Dollar is one of the most iconic circulating commemorative coins ever issued by the U.S. Mint, created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence, marking 2 centuries since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. This special quarter, minted only in 1975 and 1976, bears the dual date 1776 to 1976 on every piece, as no standard Washington quarters carry the date 1975. The obverse front of the coin continues to feature the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan, but it was paired with a completely unique reverse to honor the bicentennial. The reverse back design, created by Jack L. AHR, depicts a proud and detailed colonial drummer, representing the spirit of America's revolutionary roots, standing with a drum slung over his shoulder, accompanied by a victory torch encircled by 13 stars, each star representing one of the original 13 colonies. Above the drummer is the powerful inscription, United States of America, and below it the denomination quarter dollar, while the central right area carries the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, symbolizing unity among the states. These bicentennial quarters were produced in enormous quantities, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, D, and a smaller, more collectible number at the San Francisco Mint, S, which issued both proof coins in clad composition and a special 40% silver version, making the silver bicentennial quarters especially valued among collectors today. The clad circulation strikes are composed of copper-nickel, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, weighing 5.67 grams, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and featuring a reeded edge. The silver-clad versions, sold in special mint sets and proof sets, have a composition of 40% silver and 60% copper, giving them a slightly different ring, color tone, and overall feel compared to standard circulation pieces. Historically, the bicentennial quarter represents a major national celebration. In the mid-1970s, the United States launched a massive program of patriotic events, parades, cultural exhibitions, and commemorative acts to remember America's revolutionary fight for freedom, and the coins were intentionally designed to circulate widely so every citizen could carry a symbol of the bicentennial year. Because of this, the design became part of everyday American life, appearing in change across the country, making it one of the most recognized commemorative coin designs in U.S. history. The circulation numbers were extremely high, over 1.6 billion coins combined from Philadelphia and Denver. So most circulated bicentennial quarters hold primarily historical rather than monetary value, though high-grade uncirculated examples, especially MS-66 or MS-67, can command premium prices. The San Francisco S silver proof and clad proof strikes are particularly prized for their sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. Interesting varieties include doubling on letters, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die clashes, and the rare but notable 40% silver planchet errors that appear in the wrong mint sets or accidentally struck for circulation. Over time, collectors have come to appreciate the cultural significance of the bicentennial quarter not only as a coin, but as a symbol of American pride, artistry, and historical remembrance. It represents the moment when the country paused to reflect on 2 centuries of independence, achievements, and national identity, wrapping all that history into a small, pocket-sized piece of metal. Today, the 1776 to 1976 quarter remains a favorite starting point for new collectors because of its artistic beauty, easily recognizable design, fascinating varieties, and powerful patriotic meaning. Whether found in worn circulated condition, preserved as a brilliant uncirculated specimen, or treasured as a silver proof from San Francisco, the bicentennial quarter continues to stand as a living tribute to America's revolutionary beginnings and the enduring values of liberty, unity, and progress that define the United States' next top 2. The United States quarter dollar dated 1981 with the P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, a coinage tradition that began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the first president of the United States and a central figure of the nation's revolutionary history. By 1981, the Washington quarter had already become a familiar symbol of American pocket change and everyday commerce, But each date and mint mark carries its own historical context, production background, and collecting interest. The 1981 P quarter was struck during a period of major political, economic, and minting transitions in the United States, making it more than just a common circulation coin. It reflects technological change, economic challenges, monetary policy, and evolving craftsmanship at the U.S. Mint. The obverse of the coin features the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, based on Jean-Antoine Houdon's famous 1786 sculpture of Washington. This bust, positioned facing left, is framed by the inscriptions Liberty, above, and In God We Trust, to the left of the portrait. Below Washington's neck appears the date 1981, representing a year of high inflation, changing national priorities, and a dynamic time under the early administration of President Ronald Reagan. The reverse features the Flanagan design that had been used for decades, a bold heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, perched upon a bundle of arrows symbolizing national defense strength, while an olive branch below represents America's preference for peace. The inscriptions include United States of America at the top, E Pluribus Unum beneath it, and $quarter at the bottom. Though later replaced by State, Territorial, and America the Beautiful designs many decades later, this classic reverse design is deeply iconic and recognized worldwide. This coin is minted in the standard cupronickel-clad composition introduced in 1965 after the United States removed silver from circulating quarters. Thus, the 1981 P quarter is composed of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin a total weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, with a reeded edge containing 119 reeds. The Philadelphia Mint in 1981 produced a very large quantity of these coins to satisfy national demand for small denomination currency, with a mintage of hundreds of millions, ensuring widespread circulation throughout the United States during the early 1980s. This was a time when coin production was influenced by economic conditions. Continuing inflation from the late 1970s required a consistent flow of reliable coinage to keep the economy functioning smoothly. The Philadelphia Mint was also modernizing its machinery, using more advanced planchet preparation and striking techniques, which helped ensure sharper details and more standardized quality across production runs. In the numismatic world, the 1981 P quarter is considered common in circulated condition due to its high mintage and widespread use, but high-grade uncirculated examples are of interest to collectors, especially those seeking coins above MS-65, which are notably harder to find because Philadelphia minted coins of this era often suffered from bag marks, weak strikes, and handling wear during mass distribution. Collectors often search for well-struck, lustrous examples with clean surfaces, original mint frost, and strong eagle feather detail. Error varieties for the 1981 P quarter include possible off-center strikes, die cracks, filled die mint marks, and minor planchet flaws, all of which add interest but must be authenticated by experts to determine rarity and value. Historically, the coin also sits at a point when the U.S. Mint still used the P mint mark sparingly. Note that before 1980, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on quarters at all. The presence of the P on a 1981 quarter reflects a relatively new policy shift toward mint mark consistency across denominations and facilities. Socially and politically, the year 1981 represents an important period in American history. The start of Reaganomics, attempts to curb inflation, a recovering manufacturing sector, and a renewed sense of national pride. Everyday citizens using the 1981 P quarter for shopping, bus fares, or phone booths lived in a world where coinage still played a major role in daily transactions, decades before digital payment systems dominated. Thus, your 1981 P quarter holds not just monetary value, but a piece of American life, economics, and minting tradition. Whether preserved in a collection or found in circulation, it continues the legacy of nearly half a century of Washington quarters and stands as a snapshot of U.S. Mint craftsmanship at the dawn of the 1980s, making it a fascinating and meaningful piece of numismatic history. Next, top 3. The United States $quarter Connecticut 1788 to 1999 with the D mint mark from the Denver Mint is one of the most important and iconic coins from the 50-state quarters program, a groundbreaking initiative launched by the United States Mint in 1999 that transformed the $quarter into a modern educational, historical, and cultural symbol while reinvigorating coin collecting for a new generation. This specific coin honors the state of Connecticut, which ratified the U.S. Constitution in 1788 as the fifth state, a moment that cemented its place in early American history. The coin's reverse design commemorates Connecticut's historical identity through its depiction of the legendary charter oak, one of the most famous trees in American folklore, symbolizing resistance to tyranny, independence, and the struggle to preserve colonial rights. The charter oak became a national icon when in 1687, Connecticut patriots are said to have hidden the colony's royal charter inside the hollow of the giant tree to prevent it from being seized by agents of King James II, who sought to tighten English control over the American colonies. Although the actual charter oak tree fell in a storm in 1856, its legacy remains deeply rooted in American heritage, and the 1999 quarter immortalizes this symbol for millions of people through numismatic art. The design shows the immense, sprawling branches of the charter oak, with fine detail capturing its age, strength, and historical significance. Above the tree is the inscription Connecticut 1788, to mark the state's admission into the Union, while the bottom of the reverse reads the Charter OAK, along with the commemorative date, 1999, the first year of the State Quarters series. Completing the traditional inscriptions, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and Quarter Dollar are also present, merging historic symbolism with familiar U.S. coinage identity.n. The obverse continues to feature the classic portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 but modified for the State Quarters program. Washington's profile faces left, with the inscriptions Liberty above and In God We Trust on the left side of the bust. The mint mark D appears to the right of Washington, identifying the coin as struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most active branch mints in America. The year 1999, placed below Washington's portrait, marks a transformative year for American coinage. The debut of the State Quarters program represented one of the largest public numismatic projects in U.S. history, releasing 5 state-themed quarters each year from 1999 through 2008. Connecticut was the 5th and final state quarter issued in 1999, concluding the first year of the program with a design that quickly became popular among collectors for its artistic elegance and the deep-rooted historical meaning of the charter oak. The coin is composed of the standard clad alloy introduced after 1965, featuring a pure copper core with outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Connecticut quarters to meet the high public demand driven by excitement over this new series. Despite the high mintage, collectors prize high-grade examples, especially those graded MS 66, MS 67, or above, which display sharp details in the tree's branches and minimal contact marks. Because the charter oak design contains extremely fine lines and intricate details, weak strikes or worn dies are common, making fully detailed examples more desirable. Denver-struck coins often show stronger strikes than Philadelphia coins of the same era, but handling and mass circulation still reduced the population of pristine specimens. Additionally, error varieties such as off-center strikes, die chips in the branches, die cracks, double strike anomalies, or planchet flaws can increase a coin's value significantly, though they must be authenticated by experts to determine rarity and market appeal. The Connecticut 1999 D-State Quarter represents more than just the image of a tree. It reflects the legacy of early colonial governance, the fight for autonomy, and the pioneering spirit of a state deeply woven into the fabric of American identity. The State Quarters program itself modernized the public relationship with U.S. coinage, encouraging millions to collect, trade, and learn about national history through everyday pocket change. Because this coin was one of the first issues in the series, many Americans vividly remember finding these in circulation, inspiring new collectors and revitalizing the hobby. At the time, 1999 marked the beginning of a booming period for the United States Mint, with unprecedented public interest, media attention, and educational campaigns surrounding the series. Socially and historically, the coin captures a moment when the United States embraced a renewed appreciation for regional history and cultural storytelling through numismatics. Today, the Connecticut 1788 to 1999 D quarter remains a beloved collectible, combining artistic beauty, colonial mythology, early constitutional heritage, and modern minting innovation, making it a significant and meaningful piece for collectors and history enthusiasts. Next, top 4. The United States quarter dollar, dated 1982 with the D mint mark from the Denver Mint, is one of the most historically significant Washington quarters of the late 20th century. Not because of its rarity and circulated condition, but because 1982 marks a major turning point in American numismatic history. Specifically, one of the only years in modern U.S. mint history when no official uncirculated mint sets were produced for collectors. This single decision dramatically influenced the survival rate of high-grade 1982 D quarters, making well-preserved examples prized today and giving the coin a special place in the Washington Quarter series. The 1982 D quarter continues the tradition of the Washington Quarter design created by John Flanagan in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president and the leader of the American Revolution. On the obverse, Washington's left-facing bust dominates the design, reflecting both classical style and the mint's dedication to patriotic symbolism. The inscriptions include Liberty across the top and In God We Trust to the left, with the date 1982 at the bottom. To Washington's right sits the small but meaningful D mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the place of production. On the reverse, the iconic heraldic eagle, wings outstretched, grips a bundle of arrows representing national defense, while an olive branch below symbolizes the United States' commitment to peace when possible. The inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and quarter dollar frame the eagle, retaining the classic layout that had been used since the early 1930s. The coin is struck in the modern clad composition introduced in 1965 after the removal of silver from circulating quarters, consisting of outer layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and features a reeded edge with approximately 119 reeds. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters to meet national circulation demand during a period marked by economic stress, high inflation, and evolving government monetary policy under the early 1980s presidency of Ronald Reagan. However, the lack of mint sets in 1982 means that most of these coins entered direct circulation, leading to widespread wear, bag marks, and loss of luster, and therefore truly high-grade uncirculated examples, MS65, MS66, MS67, are far scarcer than their mintage suggests. Even today, collectors often struggle to find sharply struck, clean, original surface 1982 D quarters because the usual supply of fresh, never circulated coins from mint sets simply does not exist for that year. This makes the 1982 D quarter an important study piece in modern numismatics, illustrating how minting policies directly affect survival rates and collector demand. Historically, 1982 was a year of transition for the U.S. Mint, which was cutting costs by eliminating collector sets, adjusting coinage schedules, and improving production efficiency. The Denver Mint, known for generally stronger strikes compared to Philadelphia, still faced the challenges of mass production, worn dies, and heavy use of machinery, resulting in common issues like weak feather detail on the eagle, scattered contact marks, or slight die fatigue. Error and variety collectors also seek out unusual 1982 D quarter anomalies such as off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips in Washington's hair or the eagle's wings, and dramatic planchet flaws, all of which can elevate a coin's value significantly if the condition is strong and the error is visually striking. Numismatically, the 1982 D quarter represents a snapshot of American life in the early 1980s, a time when quarters were essential for everyday purchases like payphones, vending machines, parking meters, and bus fare. Millions of Americans handled these coins daily, embedding them into the rhythm of national commerce long before digital payment methods existed. Culturally and economically, the coin sits at the crossroads of inflation, new government policies, and the United States Mint's shift toward modernized production methods. The Washington Quarter had already served the nation for half a century by 1982, yet it remained unchanged in design and purpose, symbolizing stability in a rapidly evolving economic era. Because of this, the 1982 D quarter is not just a piece of metal, but a witness to its time, a coin that reflects the technological limitations and financial constraints of the U.S. Mint, as well as the daily experiences of the American people. Its absence from official mint sets forever distinguishes it from other common-date Washington quarters, giving it unique numismatic importance and making high-quality specimens genuinely collectible despite massive original mintage numbers. For collectors today, the 1982 D quarter holds historical depth, market interest, educational value, and a connection to a distinctive moment in United States coinage history, making it an essential and meaningful piece for any Washington quarter collection.